today's technique is the small circle Jujitsu Guillotine choke. Growing up, we called this the front naked choke because we would do the choke without the gi on. This is something I learned in the 80s from my father and my uncle, Wally Jay. It's something my family's used a bit, and I used it quite a bit when I first started doing Jiu-Jitsu and no gi back in the late 90s. And so it's something that when a guy would go in for a single leg or double or attacks me with head down, I go ahead and snatch it up and I'll finish him. So to explain it, I gotta show first the way most people do it, and I'll show you the differences between the small circle version. So the classic way that most people do the guillotine choke is the head's low, I reach around the neck, and I lean back to choke, okay? And that works because I'm leaning back and using my back and body to actually do the choke. And that'll work on most people, right? But the defense is pretty simple. So if I come around here and go to choke, he can put his hand over my shoulder, and now I go to choke, I can't finish the choke. Okay, but the small circle version works still if he does that. So the small circle version, I'm gonna do the same thing, but use my wrist to choke him. So I'll show it first and I'll explain it. So I'm here, reach around his neck, and I go to choke. Okay. So what I'm doing, the small circle version, is I do a thumb wrist entry, my hand goes around the neck, I make my wrist concave here, okay? So that way I can lift up. So in small circle jiu-jitsu, we do a lot of wrist action. So I wrap my hand around his neck, my wrist is concave, and I'm gonna lift up, and at the same time, my arm comes down. So pretend I have his head here in this hole. I'm like this, I go as tight as possible against his neck, and the choke, I pull up, and my arm goes down. I can see that hole close. Okay, so the guy's here, I reach around, get my wrist against his neck, I go down and choke here. Okay, sorry. And then now, even if he puts his arm over my shoulder, I can still finish. So here, if I was doing the classic way, lean back, I can't finish because you hold me down, but small circle version, I can still finish. Okay, and that is the standing version of the small circle guillotine.